I got one thing to say. This is when the big dogs come out. Okay? So you can't roll with the big dogs. Stay on the board.
Hey everyone, Ron Guida from Selected Strength Training Systems and Energy MMA TV. Now, earlier this week, I had the opportunity to meet up with Guida. And this is a few days removed from his awesome fight that he had with Benson Henderson. If you had a chance to see it, I'm sure you know how awesome of a fight it was, going back and forth. If you haven't seen it, better find out how, because you're missing out. Now, this particular clip we're talking about strength conditioning. And I think this is a great insight from one of the premier fighters in the UFC. And if you're a combat sport athlete, whether you are an MMA fighter or maybe just a wrestler, jiu-jitsu, muay thai, boxing, any one of those combat sport athletes, whatever you are, listen in on this clip. I think he has great insight on on the stuff that he talks about and what he emphasizes in his own training. And I think it's definitely worth listening to. So enough from me. Go ahead and listen in. Thanks a lot. Enjoy. What's up, everyone? Ron Guida for Selected Strength Training Systems. Here I have a very special guest, fresh off of his epic encounter with Benson Henderson, Clay the Carpenter Guida. Clay, thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate you guys having us on the show. Thanks for having me.
Well, the reason for my interview with you today is that I just want to give you your perspective from a strength and conditioning standpoint, because you're famous for your endurance, your high energy, the fast pace that you have, throughout your fights. And I'd like to know what do you attribute that to? Because if you can describe some of the things that you do, especially for those young viewers out there, young listeners.
Hard work comes from a strong background in I guess work ethic. I get it from my parents. My mom and dad both work a couple of jobs, and they worked a couple of jobs as me, my brother and sister were growing up. We come from a very middle class family. We didn't come from much, but just a very loving family. And there's we train very similar to a lot of other fighters, teammates. But I believe I have more of an edge because I know hard work and success is what you make of it. I always believe that I don't care what my teammates, or I'm sorry, I don't care what my opponents are doing. I know I'm going to outwork them. I know nothing that they do is going to be able to phase me as far as putting the time and putting in the road work. Doing the runs when you get time. Going out and running a few miles, or going and doing kettlebells. And I'm very adamant about doing my kettlebell training, fitness training, stuff like that. I'm not big on lifting weights. I don't do bench press and stuff like that. But I'll go do 100 push-ups or pull-ups, stuff like that. Go swing kettlebells for an hour, and different fast twitch, explosive hips. Mixed martial artists. We're not distance runners. We're sprinters. Kind of fast twitch and just explosive, quick burst movement, things like that. So I can attribute the hard work to just having a big heart and always looking at the task at hand and the bigger picture. A lot of times, most of 90% of the time, my opponents are more skilled than I, but I outwork them. Simple.
That's great. Because definitely when you're out there, you're fighting. You could tell just the intestinal fortitude that you have. The guts. The hard work that you put out there when you're out in the ring. When it comes to training, I know for the athletes that I train, I emphasize a lot of odd object training, a lot of strongman type training. Not your traditional bodybuilder type of stuff. Do you work with a lot of odd objects like kettlebells? You mentioned kettlebells, maybe like sandbags or any type of strongman training or body weight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think doing your traditional bench press and squat type things like that, or dumbbell training it's outdated. I'm more into the kind of the caveman type training, I call it now. You know, just basic stuff, whatever you might have laying around the garage, things that don't cost a whole bunch of money. You don't need a $5,000, Joe Weider, or Mr. Olympia, Nautilus set of weights in your closet to gain strength and to get a lot out of your workouts. I think basic things, kettlebells, sandbags, box jumps, maybe a tire or a hammer. The list goes on. It's an exercise ball, a pull-up bar, a dip bar. Simple things like that can really go a long way and be a huge catalyst in your training.
What are your what would you say is like maybe your top 2 or 3 favorite movements that you like to do? Did you feel that you really when you get in the gym, you really like to go at them? What are your favorites?
I have to say kettlebell swings are huge, and kettlebell snatches are big when I'm doing my strength and conditioning. Sprints are huge. Box jumps are a very big part of it. Cleans are big. I don't do them as I get closer to my fight. The list goes on. It's sled pushes and pulls are huge. Throwing the sandbags, just quick burst, fast twitch movements.
Okay.
And sometimes just getting out there and running a few miles, kind of just self motivation and just self reflecting. Just keeping the weight down and staying focused. That's always it's big for me in my training.
Oh, cool. Well, my last question is, you just went through some of the favorites that you have. Well, what are some of the movements that you actually think that you absolutely hate, but you do them because it's going to make you better?
Man, ball slams are tough. After doing a set of legs or something, or I'm trying to think. Doing jumps. Doing squat jumps, things like that, and then doing a set of ball slams. Anything that you do repetitive is tough. We run sand dunes in Albuquerque too. Those are they're a pain in the butt, but you know what? Those are the things that late in the rounds you're happy you did in camp. My motto is train hard and the fight is easier. There's never an easy fight, but we say a lot of times you hear people in competition say train hard, fight easy. I think that really rings true. Is the more experience you get in your career and the more fun you have. It's the hard work it pays off. The fight or the competition is won far away from the lights. Like Muhammad Ali says, one of my favorite quotes. It's I really think that rings true. And the fight is won far away from the lights. In the dark, sweaty, cold or hot gym, whatever it may be, and it's one with your teammates. It's one out there on the road, doing the work and putting in that extra time, putting those extra hours, and you see all the pieces unfold come fight night once those lights turn on.
That's very inspiring stuff right there. It's like a lot of those quotes I know I like to tell those to the athletes too, and that's awesome. It really is. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This is Ramba Guisa from Selected Strength Training Systems with Clay, the Carpenter Guida. Clay, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Train hard.